Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a really significant global moment, the passing of Pope Francis.
Yes.
You shared some, well, quite detailed material on this, and our goal is really to pull out the key insights and understand what it means for, for you listening.
Right.
We've got this script here, kind of like a podcast outline detailing the events, the reflections on his time as Pope. Okay, let's dive in.
Absolutely. And the material itself, it's a concise 5-minute script. It pinpoints his death on Easter Monday, April 21st, 2025. He was 88.
88, yeah.
And it covers quite a bit: the announcement itself, his background, the major themes of his papacy, his health, obviously, what happens next with the election, and the first reactions.
Right. So the mission here isn't just repeating the news headlines. We want to give you a clearer, sort of deeper understanding of his passing, his legacy as the script presents it, and, well, what might be next for the Catholic Church.
Highlighting the really compelling bits.
Exactly. Connecting the dots for anyone trying to stay informed.
Okay, so let's start with the immediate news, the announcement. The script says Pope Francis passed away at 7:35 a.m., Monday, April 21st.
2025.
At his residence, Casa Santa Marta, in the Vatican.
And the person making the announcement was Cardinal Kevin Farrell, the Camerlengo.
That's the one. It's a key role, so caretaker,
Yeah.
during this vacancy period before a new pope is elected.
Right. Manages the church's temporal affairs.
Exactly. And the cardinal's statement noted the pope's life was, well, completely dedicated to serving the Lord and his church.
88 is a long life, certainly. But it does sound like his health had been a growing concern.
Yes, the script mentions a battle with double pneumonia, and he'd spent, 38 days in Gemelli Hospital earlier in 2025?
That's a significant stretch.
It is.
No.
And apparently, although he made that brief appearance on Easter Sunday, which gave some hope, his condition declined afterwards.
It's always a moment that makes you pause, doesn't it, when a figure like that passes? Makes you think about their life, their impact. And Pope Francis, he was definitely a unique figure.
Oh, absolutely. Jorge Mario Bergoglio, born in Argentina.
Right.
His election in 2013, that was huge. The first pope from Latin America, the first Jesuit pope, too.
And those two things, the Latin American roots, the Jesuit background, they must have really shaped his papacy, wouldn't you say?
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And his style was different, too, even from the start.
I remember reading about him taking the bus right after being elected.
Yes.
Seems small, but it sent such a message, didn't it? Humility.
It really did. And living in the guest house, the Casa Santa Marta, instead of the Apostolic Palace, that also spoke volumes.
Yeah, really underlined that theme.
And that focus on humility, plus his, deep concern for the poor, for refugees, people on the margins, that resonated widely.
That's where the People's Pope nickname came from, isn't it?
Exactly. It really captured that focus.
And he wasn't afraid to tackle big global issues head on. The script points out his critique of unfettered capitalism.
Calling it the dung of the devil. Pretty strong words.
Very strong,
Yeah.
especially from a pope. And then the encyclical on the environment, Laudato Si, that was a major moment, pushing for climate action.
Yeah, and what's interesting is how he wove together faith and these, very current global crises. He saw the moral dimension in economics, in ecology.
It wasn't just abstract theology.
Not at all. And his actions often reflected his words. Washing the feet of refugees, you mentioned that.
Yes.
Or the Vatican giving sanctuary to Syrian families.
Yeah.
Very concrete examples.
And then there was the whole push towards greater inclusivity within the church itself. That, who am I to judge? Comment.
Ah, yes. Regarding the LGBTQ community?
That really made headlines, didn't it? Signaled maybe a different tone.
It certainly captured his pastoral approach, I think, emphasizing mercy, understanding.
Yeah.
But as the script notes, this didn't come without, pushback.
Right. Tensions with more conservative wings of the church.
Definitely. Some felt he was moving too fast, challenging traditions. It highlighted that ongoing debate, really tradition versus adapting to the times, especially on social issues.
It sounds like his health was also discussed more openly than maybe in the past. The script suggests that.
It does. I mean, people knew about the lung issue from his youth.
Right. Part of a lung removed.
And the wheelchair use in recent years was visible. But the script highlights the transparency around his hospitalization this year, the detailed medical updates.
That felt different.
Apparently so. A move away from the, perhaps, greater secrecy of the past regarding papal health. Quite unprecedented, the script suggests.
Okay, so his passing leads us to the next steps. The script talks about what happens now in the Vatican.
Yes. First, there's a formal period of mourning. Then, the focus shifts entirely to electing the next pope, the 268th.
The conclave.
The conclave, exactly. About 138 cardinals gathering in the Sistine Chapel. That secret ritual to choose the successor.
Always a moment of intense focus and speculation globally. Does the script mention any potential names?
It does mention two, Italy's Matteo Zuppi and Luis Antonio Tagle from the Philippines. But, predicting the outcome of a conclave is notoriously difficult. Lots of factors involved.
And apparently Pope Francis himself had simplified the funeral rites just last year.
Yes, the script notes that, emphasizing faith over sort of worldly power displays, which seems quite in line with his general approach, doesn't it?
It really does. And his final resting place.
According to his wishes, the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore.
Okay. And the global reaction so far sounds like a major outpouring.
Very much so.
No.
The script talks about tributes flooding in from all over, mentions posts on X, people calling him a beacon of humility. It's clear his impact went far beyond just Catholics.
Absolutely. His death really feels like a turning point, as the script says. His papacy left a mark, even with all the internal debates it stirred up.
The script frames it as steering the church towards inclusion, towards compassion, despite those controversies.
A legacy of love, reform, challenging people to live the gospel courageously. That's how the script puts it.
And it highlights that quote, "The gospel is for everyone."
Yeah, that seems to really capture his core message, doesn't it?
It does, a vision of a more open, welcoming church.
So pulling it all together from this deep dive into the source material, we're talking about the passing of a pope who, well, broke the mold in several ways.
First from Latin America.
First Jesuit, a real focus on the poor and marginalized. And this greater transparency, even about his health.
A papacy marked by these progressive ideas, but also, some significant internal tensions.
Definitely. And understanding all this, it gives you, the listener, some really valuable context, I think. Context on religious leadership globally, the dynamics inside a huge institution like the Catholic Church.
And those big themes he pushed: social justice, the environment they intersect with so many current global conversations.
They really do. Which leads to a final thought, maybe something provocative to consider. Given Pope Francis's push to modernize, to be more inclusive, and now with this conclave coming up, what do you think are the biggest challenges facing his successor? How do they navigate all these different viewpoints, the conflicts, both inside the church and in the wider world?
That's the crucial question.